Right. What's the team news for this week?
Similar to last week, you're going to have to help me. I always have a blank when you ask me that question. We don't have any long-term injuries. Jamie Jones is banned, obviously, and Rob Burrow won't be available. He didn't make his fitness test. He just had a fitness test now, so we're similar to last week.
Is it a worrying issue with Rob because he's missed the last two now?
No, I don't think there's any long-term issues with it. He's banged a bit of bone there. He's got some metal work in there from a previous injury. So, he's rattled something up there. It's just taking some time to settle down.
How much of a loss is Jamie Jones Buchanan?
Well, hopefully we'll pick the slack up and hopefully we won't miss too much of him. But he's been great for us, Jonesy. A combination of a huge amount of work ethic. His numbers most weeks are incredible. But he's not just grunt. He's got a bit in him as well. We get a bit of play off him as well. So let's hope the other blokes are on the field pick the slack up for him.
Given the way he plays and given the minutes he's played, probably the week off won't do him any harm when you look at the games coming.
Yeah, for sure. He won't think like this, but it'll be a welcome rest for him. I don't think he knows the word rest, Jones. He's never in his house. He's always out doing things, and whether he's working with Rugby AM or doing something for our ambassadors, doing something for our foundation, or just going out and researching something about life in general, he's always got something going on there. So I'm sure a week off from us won't do him any bad.
So are you looking at the same 17?
Yeah,
Apart
again, you're going to have to. I don't know.
Sorry, apart from Jones.
Yeah.
So there'll be one change at least.
17 names I've got to remember. I can't remember all 17 names. Yeah. Similar. Let's go similar.
Similar. What are you expecting from Fev?
Well, we've got a dual reg with Fev, and we've got a lot of links with them, and spent a lot of time in pre-season with them. Got a lot of blokes on dual reg with them, and trained with them a fair few times. So all that manifests itself in respect. That's the word we've got for them, is respect. They're no slouches of a team. John Sharp's done a great job with them again this year, and they're trying to cement top four. There's a really good version of Featherstone, and that's the team we'll prepare for.
Does the dual reg agreement give you an insight into their team that you might not ordinarily have had?
Yeah, it does, but then they've got an insight into us as well, so it works both ways. So John Sharp and I talk on a regular basis, and I give him a fair bit about what we want to do, what we aim to do, and swap ideas with him. He doesn't tell me anything about his team. He keeps his card. No, he doesn't. He gives me a fair bit as well. So, yeah, there'll be some benefits to it, but then it works both ways. They know our strengths and weaknesses as well.
What are their strengths?
I'm not going to tell you, James, because I'm such an intelligent man. Well, you shouldn't know. Listen, they're cohesive. They play with each other. I think they've got a set of forwards that have got a real good balance between playing with each other, trying to put somebody through a hole, but at the same time got the grunt going on as well and provide his team with a bit of go forward. I think they've got some smart halves, and they've got some outside backs that know how to finish. They know how to get over the try line. So it's there's a balanced team there.
You got no issue with Corey Aston playing for them?
No, we haven't. I mean, it's an awkward one. He's our player and spends a lot of time with us, although he plays for them mainly. But it's just one of those decisions for his development and for him to progress. And he'll want to play against us. He'll want to show us what he can do. So the player comes first in this regard.
I mean, you just said you got an insight into how Featherstone at least play one of the top sides in the Championship. From what you've seen, is the gap between the top sides in the Super League and the top sides in the Championship starting to narrow?
Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? You just look at the results over the last 5-6 years. I remember Wigan going there. I think it might have been a quarter-final of a cup a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and only just beaten them. They're further down the track as a group, as a club, than they were back then. So, there's a couple of Championship teams beat Super League teams in last 10 years. So in Challenge Cup games. So, yeah, there is. Yeah. And the playing group of the Championship clubs, or the top Championship clubs at least, have got better, more balanced. You know, they spread their talent across the squad rather than paying for 3 or 4 big names, and the rest of them are just soldiers, you know, cannon fodder. So no, I think Featherstone, who will be striving to improve their squad all the time, but I think they'll be reasonably happy with what they've got at the moment.
I know there's a gap to the semi-final and the final as well, but as we sit here, do you feel like Leeds are in good position to have a real crack at the Challenge Cup?
If we beat Featherstone, yeah. Listen, if we beat Featherstone, we're 80 minutes away from Wembley, and it's a really exciting position to be in. It's not something that makes you relax or you can, you know, ease off the gas. It's something that you really hunt up for and go for. But we've got to beat Featherstone first, you know, and that's, I think, keen to stress upon our players this week. That Muhammad Ali boxed a fella called Chuck Wepner once, you know. What are you laughing for? I haven't even started yet. Chuck Wepner was just a journeyman boxer, and Muhammad Ali, you could tell with the tempo and the pace that he boxed with, just wasn't taking it serious, and he ended up getting floored, I think, in the 4th round. He got put in his backsides, and Muhammad Ali came up, got up off the deck, and you could tell he was hacked off with being put down, and then for the next 4 or 5 rounds, just absolutely trying to just knock Chuck Wepner out, and just boxed at an increased tempo and an increased rate, and beat Chuck Wepner. But nobody ever remembers the fight. They just remember the first 4 rounds of Chuck Wepner, who floored Muhammad Ali. He'd only been on the deck 2 or 3 times in his career beforehand. Interesting, that's where Sylvester Stallone went to watch that fight, and that's where he thought of the idea of Rocky, of a slugger doing it against you know, this flamboyant athlete who's a superstar. So I told the players that story this morning. They had no idea what I was talking about. But yeah, our attitude towards Featherstone will be in good nick tomorrow night.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, what does the Cup mean to you? You've obviously won it at Bradford, you've won it here as a coach. What does it mean to you?
It's a good event, it's great. I know there's always a bit of dialogue about as Rugby League or Super League moved on from the Challenge Cup, is Super League bigger than the Challenge Cup, and I don't think it's either or. I don't think it ever will be either or. I don't think we'd ever say, well, we don't really need the Challenge Cup. In this current climate where everybody thinks we play too many games, I understand that you would say, well, do we need the Challenge Cup? I think for the 4 extra games and the interest it gathers throughout those 4 extra games, I think it's well worth it. It's well worth it. And if you get to the later rounds, you know, even the semi-final of the Challenge Cup, there's been some historic semi-final games, both you know, between Yorkshire and Lancashire clubs, or Yorkshire v Yorkshire, or Lancashire v Lancashire. There's been some historic games there which have dragged in the crowds. Historically, the Challenge Cup games have always drawn big crowds, not so much in the last 10-15 years, which I struggle to comprehend really, because there's some fantastic games.
Looking at it, obviously the price of success means if you get through, you've got to play every week. Featherstone have got to play every week, and they've got a midweek game. Do you think that's fair on them, that they've got to squeeze another game in because of their success?
Yeah, when do they play? They play the following Wednesday, do they? Yeah. It's one of these, you know, that's a great example of what I'm talking about. At some stage you think, no, this is okay, because it is the Challenge Cup. It's not just an extra game that we're playing for a reason that not many people agree with. We're playing an extra game, or Featherstone having to squeeze that game in for the Challenge Cup, and that's where it differs.
But some would argue their bigger objective is making the 4 because of what it means to them financially and their ability to get into Super League.
Yeah, I can understand that, but then they get through to the semi-final. There's a financial reward there. You know, the fact that they've drawn us at our place, there'll be a financial reward for them. So I don't think Mark Campbell, the chairman, will be sniffing at this and thinking we don't want to play this game tonight. I think yeah, for sure, it'll be a financial gain for them. But you know, you'd have to ask Featherstone what they think of it. You know, they're a championship team, and I agree with you that realistically their option would be to get top spot and be battling in the mid-eights with the bottom 4 Super League teams. But from our point of view, if you're telling me that we're going to play 4 extra games on top of what we normally play for a chance to get to Wembley, yeah, I don't think anybody's got a problem with that. It's a great occasion, it's a brilliant spectacle, and we want to get there again.
Was your conversation with John regarding the dual reg boys quite a short one, or?
In terms of what, whether
Well, I'm presuming he give you a big list of players he'd like to have, and you said no.
Listen, with injuries and size of squads, should we beat Featherstone and should we get through to the semi, who knows who we might be fielding, so it's important we hold the usual players back.
It's going to be an interesting running. Obviously, we're getting to the end of the first part of the regular season. It's very tight in the top four as well. You've got to be at it every week again now, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's good now. It starts to warm up now, and both on and off the field it starts to warm up. Let's hope we can get some days where it's not raining on game day for us, but looking forward to the next few weeks.
And what will you be saying to your team as they go out tomorrow night? What will the message be for them?
Oh, I've normally done my talking by then. They'll be on into themselves by that time. They'll be looking forward to it. Our players want to put a show on. We're a team that's progressing with our offence, and we want to improve our offence. So, tomorrow night, as well as wanting to get through to the next round, it's another chance for us to try and nail some stuff on field and get better at it.
I think when you said at the start of the year that you were aiming at the treble, a few eyebrows were raised from certain people, but a win tomorrow night...
Who raised their eyebrows? You tell me who raised their eyebrows.
Some,
Did you raise your eyebrows?
Some fans... No, not me, Brian.
Right.
I dare raise my eyebrows to you. Some fans were questioning, can a team do it again? It's so wide open. But if you win tomorrow, it's still got everything to play for, isn't it?
For sure, yeah. Absolutely. Listen, whether we do it or not is another conversation to have. But as a goal at the start of the year, for sure, that's one thing we want to do. And I know the table looks a certain way at the moment, there's a couple of teams in front of us who are playing extremely well, who have every right to be confident. But these 15-round championship fights, they take on a different take, don't they? There's a different feel to them in round 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, as I've said to you many times, we were the most tiredest in the Super 8s a couple of years ago. That were the most tiredest I've ever seen my team. And interestingly, we were playing against the top 8 teams. We weren't playing against bottom teams. We were playing against top 8 teams. So it's a real tough period of the season.
Can I just ask you about the McGregor Mayweather fight? You're obviously a boxer yourself. You know what it takes to get in the ring. Are you surprised this is happening?
No, I'm not. Boxing is just all about making money, isn't it? Nowadays, there's an element of it. It's fascinating in boxing at the moment because there's a hell of a lot going on, especially in British boxing. British boxing has boomed over the last 10 years. But there's so many titles out there. IBO now is, young Chris Bank Jr. has got the IBO world title, and it's just another version. And it's hard. I couldn't tell you who holds all the world titles. It's all about making money, and it's a money-making industry. It's unashamedly a money-making industry. And Floyd Mayweather, he's unashamedly wants to make money. So you're getting paid £100 million to fight a bloke who's never boxed before. Tough old fella, McGregor, and he's a goer. But I got it wrong with Klitschko last time. When I predicted Klitschko, I got it wrong. So I can't see McGregor being able to compete with him.
Brian, how would you rate your success so far in the Cup this season? You haven't faced Super League opposition yet. Do you think you've really been tested?
No.
Do you think that'll change tomorrow?
We'll get tested more. With the greatest respect to Barrow and Doncaster, they'll test us more than the other two teams did, for sure.
And looking ahead to perhaps if you do get to the final, in your opinion, would that mark a complete turnaround and recovery from everything that you went through last year to get to Wembley again?
No, yeah, it'd be a big moment. It's something we actually talk about where we were as a group to a team that then could potentially be walking out at Wembley. That'd be something that we're confident we could do. But the story of it, from where we were last year to where we are, it's certainly create a couple of headlines, and that's what we're in the industry for. Winning things, enjoying ourselves, here for a good time, not a long time, but one of them is creating headlines as well, and that certainly would be an headline.
I know players have to create their own look and work hard, but do you feel after what the players went through last year, particularly some of those young players as well, that they deserve a run like this, they deserve to go to Wembley?
No, I wouldn't say deserve. Nobody deserves anything, unfortunately, do they? Nobody deserves anything. But what it last year did was put steel in them and give them some You give them a motivation and determination that you can't get a guest speaker in to give them. You can get some people in to try and tell a story, and sometimes we do that. And as coaches and as mentors, and Adrian Morley quite often speaks to our younger end, especially the younger forwards, and he tries to motivate them and give them something, and that's all beneficial. But there's no bigger motivation than what happened to us last year, and character building certainly.
Just on the injury front, Ryan, is there any update on Brett Delaney and Jimmy Carnos?
Jimmy has been out of his brace now with his hand for a couple of weeks. He's got about another 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a little bit more. Getting used to it, although it's a really difficult one, this, because although the tendon's fixed back to his finger, he's got to be really careful with that. Everywhere else on the body, we normally can speed that recovery up process. Once they're out the pot or they've taken the bandage off or whatever it may be, you can then hit the ground running. But with this, we're going to have to tread carefully with this one. So he's working hard and doing what he's got to do to keep as fit and as strong as he can, albeit that he can't use his arm. So he could be a number of 5-6 weeks away, Jimmy still. Brett Delaney comes out of his braces. He's got 2 braces on. It's a really tough injury for him, that. But he comes out that Monday, and then usually after that it's a 2, maybe 3 weeks to get him back to where he was.